Welcome to TIA Now, the online video network for the Telecommunications Industry Association. We're here at the launch of the Advanced Wireless Research Initiative, which was just announced by the White House and which the National Science Foundation is leading. I'm Amor Schaffman, Director of Content Development for TIA. With me is Ali Niknejad. He's Faculty Director of the Berkeley Wireless Research Center. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
So we have very exciting news here today with this initiative. Tell me, what does it sound like to you? What do you anticipate for the research center yourself?
This is great news. The U.S. has always been a leader in wireless, and this is going to help us continue to maintain that leadership. So we're very excited.
Fantastic. And so you already have an ongoing relationship with the National Science Foundation because of the kind of technologies in millimeter wave that you're involved in. Tell us a little bit about it, and tell us a little bit about the research you've done thus far in millimeter wave.
Sure, yeah. So our group at Berkeley we've been pioneers at millimeter wave technology. About more than 10 years ago, we showed the technology, low-cost CMOS technology, what's in your cell phone basically could also work at millimeter wave frequencies very efficiently. So we demonstrated the technology, and we've now been working on how do you actually now build the whole system around that technology. And NSF and also DARPA have been really great in giving us funding to explore these questions. We've moved to very high frequencies. So today, with this announcement, we're looking at millimeter wave frequencies below 100 gigahertz, up to about 80 gigahertz, probably primarily at 24 gigahertz. In our research, we've gone all the way up to 240 gigahertz, and for very high data rate applications. So there's still a lot of exciting research to do, but I think what we see today is really going to enable universities and companies to come together and to prove that you could actually build these systems that work at these high frequencies, at these high capacities, low latencies, and actually, proof is in the pudding. You have to build it and show it works.
So what are some of the challenges in building a system based on this technology?
So we're talking about technology, primarily millimeter wave frequencies and massive MIMO, where you have a lot more antennas than we're used to. I mean, today's cellular communications, you have a couple antennas, maybe half a dozen antennas on a really advanced system. Now we're talking about having hundreds of antennas, even thousands as we go to really high frequencies. The main idea here is to have a system where you have a lot more antennas than you have users, and this brings about a whole new set of challenges because each antenna has to have its own hardware transceivers and baseband circuitry, signal processing. If you do it with today's hardware, it just takes too much power. It's just not feasible. So how do you actually make this problem manageable in terms of being able to route the data, being able to do it in an energy efficient way? How do you build a mobile base station with hundreds of antennas that you can still deploy at low cost? A lot of challenges to solve.
And so these particular power centers of these different cities, what do you anticipate, what kind of research do you want to see taking place, and how might Berkeley want to participate in those particular platforms?
Yeah, so I think, in my lab, BWRC, our main goal is to take the best ideas from research and then to show that you could actually build them and look at implementation and what it takes to get past those barriers. These are great ideas that we're hearing about today, but there's a lot of issues that need to be resolved. And so what I would like to see is just taking that initial step of trying to build something real, moving beyond simulation, building a real platform, and then solving the problems that come along the way. And there's a lot of research that maybe is not as glamorous in some ways, but it's just as important as making the systems really work. And I think this is what we're seeing here today.
So what do you anticipate that if we have this kind of level of frequencies and capacity that they enable, what do you anticipate will those allow industry to build? What can we expect as a result? What kind of life experience will we have?
I think, the internet is great. We all love it. The wireless internet, it's a part of our life, but it can be frustrating too, right? I mean, it's amazing. I remember when the iPhone came out, I was blown away by the technology. I'd been waiting for it. I was really excited to see it, but I was actually really disappointed by the wireless connectivity. If you remember, the first iPhones didn't even have 3G. So today's technology is great. I mean, we have these powerful computers in our pockets, on our desktops, but on the communication side, there are times when they just don't work, right? I think people spend way too much time talking about how fast you can send data, and that's great, but there are very few applications that need that amount of speed today. What we need is more reliability, more robustness. You want a wireless connection that always works. I would put much more priority on robustness and universal coverage than I would on 100 gigabits per second. Although that's also exciting and we do research on that, but I think it's time to really make wireless, as good as the old plug-in, landlines used to be.
So when you're looking at this initiative and the success metric that you might be wanting from it, what would you say would be yours? What are you looking to get out of this?
I think, for research, the big success metric is adoption. Do companies come in and just hire your students and say, yeah, you guys did a cool project and we'll hire your students? Or do they actually come in and say, wow, this technology is amazing, we need to have this technology and we want to adopt it and we want to bring it into our own labs? I think that'll be the success metric.
Ali, thank you so much for joining us. And thank you for joining us. Please visit us at tianow.org for more videos. So long.